Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. You'll have to excuse my voice once again. I am still recovering from Nurgle's plagues. The faith of the Emperor shall see me through this day. So today I want to talk about the upcoming Faith and Fury, the next part of the Psychic Awakening. There is a lot of factions when it comes to this next book. Just to name a few, you've got the White Scars, you've got the Salamanders, of course the Black Templars, the Sisters of Battle, you've got the Word Bearers, the Night Lords. There's so many factions taking part in this campaign. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go down the rabbit hole as always, and I'm going to give my thoughts, predictions, basically what I want to happen during this next big campaign. So let's jump in and let's get started. So as I mentioned, we have a lot of factions, and I think the factions, the main focus of this is going to be based around faith, the Faith and Fury, let's say. Now, you can argue which Faith and Fury would that be. On the Imperial side, we have basically the Black Templars and the Sisters who revere the Emperor as a god, all that kind of godly worship, you know, all the power that be the Imperium, basically the Imperial religion. On the other side of the coin, you have the Word Bearers with the primordial truth. Chaos this, chaos that, you know, chaos should take over, accept the real truth and stuff. You have a couple of factions in between, like the Iron Warriors, the Night Lords, the Salamanders, and the White Scars, who are really just either on the side of the Imperium or on the side of not the Imperium. Like the Iron Warriors are more or less chaos undivided. Night Lords are more or less like renegades. Well, I've always saw them as renegades, even though some of them are chaos tainted in some ways. Most of them are just, you know, they hate the Imperium, they hate the ideology of the Imperium, and they just want to bring it to its knees. Now, there's one thing I instantly thought of when I thought of Faith and Fury, and this is in regards to the book Apocalypse. Now, if you haven't read this book, then please just mute this. I'll just put like a spoiler in the text at the top. Until that's gone, just mute it because it will ruin the book. Basically, the secret in that book and the end of the book is that there's a Contemptor Dreadnought, and it's holding a loyalist word bearer. He basically has helped guide the Imperial Church about the God Emperor over the last 10,000 years, which is it's kind of fun, and it's kind of like heresy at the same time, because we know the word bearers are heretics and we also know the loyalists. So really it kind of comes into the foundation that the Imperial ideology is actually based, well, we all know it's actually based, that's what the whole irony is of it, that it's actually based off the teachings of Lorgar in the end. So it's basically Lorgar's old teachings versus Lorgar's new teachings. Now, the reason I bring this up is because I think it would be very, very interesting. I also think it would be a really cool dynamic story as well to really test the actual faith of the Imperium, is that the word bearers came out and went into a dialogue about this. They stated to the Templars, they stated to the Sisters of Battle, your whole ideology, your whole faith base in the Emperor is more or less founded on a lie, or founded on the words of Lorgar, a heretic Primarch who, you know, you hate, you know he's a heretic. And I think it would be kind of ironic for them to like try and argue that, because really we know, but they don't know that Lorgar is the key reason why the Imperial religion took off in the way it did. So I think that could be a really, really cool thing for them to come off in terms of words and stuff back and forth and everything like that. Maybe it would actually test the faith of a few sisters. Maybe it'll actually test the faith of a few of the Black Templars themselves. We do know that one Black Templar has already been excommunicated, and that is Draco, a Castellan. How or why? It says his deeds are too horrid to like go into or something like that, but a Space Marine doing deeds too horrid to finger? They all go around killing and purging, so he must have done some very, very bad stuff or very heretical stuff. But again, that's getting off subject. I don't think Black Templars deserve that kind of stuff. They are so 100% for the Imperium. How dare GW even go down that road? You've got other dialogues to get into as well. Of course, we know that Perturabo's Pillow Boys are here, and they'll be crying as they march into battle. But of course, Dawn's most zealous sons are there as well, the Black Templars versus the Iron Warriors. We could have even more awesome, you know, back and forth conversations, fights, battles, brutality with them two. You know, maybe Perturabo's boys try and build a castle, and Dawn's Crusader boys just laugh if they just, you know, kick it down and stuff like that. It could be really, really awesome. You've got the Emperor's Children there. The Emperor's Children, White Scars, Salamanders, Night Lords. We know the Night Lords and Salamanders have a little bit of a history, and for those of you who don't know, when I say a little bit bit of a history. It was Conrad Kurz who basically tortured and kept killing Vulcan again and again and again. But of course, Vulcan can't die because he's a perpetual. But you know, that doesn't stop him from torturing in his like sadistic ways and just laughing and stuff like that. There's an awesome scene at the end when he gets his hammer, which is also a hammer smack. But again, that is another story for another time. Now, one of the most interesting things about this is, of course, the arrival of the Emperor's children. Now, if rumours are to be believed, then the Emperor's children are going to be getting a sorcerer's model as part of this box set. And I think that's interesting because if something gets a model, I personally think that is where the story lies with that person, because it could be like a new character or something like that. So I'm thinking if it's actually Slaanesh, the Emperor's children, that will take the main focus when it comes to this campaign. What could they be doing on there? They're not really like bothered about like the primordial truth. They're just in it for like the frills, the nipple twists and stuff like that. You know, just the good old Slaaneshi things. Maybe they just want to take over the world and make it into like one of their little play dens or something like that. That's the only thing that really pops into my head at the moment. But I'm wondering maybe if this is kind of open the doors for bigger things. Maybe if they enslave the planet or something like that, and they do turn it into one of their play dens, maybe that will like open like a kind of a warp rift or a portal for more Slaanesh things to come through. And of course, if you go into peak Slaanesh things, then you can argue that, you know, maybe that this could be like the new pleasure planet for like Fulgrim or something. This will like welcome him back into like the universe, and for him to go rampaging and killing and purging what everybody does. But then again, you can argue that he's more or less already back, because there's been some kind of redacted inquisitorial sightings of him already. I do think it's interesting that there's so many Chaos factions there. Well, let's see, like the Night Lords, the Word Bearers, the Iron Warriors, and you can argue the World Eaters as well. A lot of people are still debating if that is a World Eater symbol. I'm just going to say it is a World Eater symbol. So most of these factions, I would say, really differ. Well, they differ massive from each other in terms of warfare. Let's just take the Night Lords, for example. The Night Lords are not really going to listen to the Emperor's Children and orders. They're not going to listen to the Iron Warriors and orders. They're not going to listen to more or less anyone except their warlord, or you know, the person who's been assigned to command them. So when it comes to terms of warfare, it's really interesting to see how these factions go about taking the planet. Have they actually all come to terms with each other and elected the leader? Maybe that's where that Chaos Slaaneshi so-called sorcerer comes into it and stuff like that. But then again, I just can't see people like the Night Lords taking orders from someone like that. So I'm wondering if it's going to be like a multi-faction war where everyone has their own type of agenda, their own type of goal to take things and to do something to the planet in their own type of way. Now, when it comes to the Imperial factions, we know that even though they clash heads sometimes over tactics and stuff, they're more or less all for the same goal, and that is defending the worlds of the Imperium, slaying the heretics, slaying the traitors, etc, etc, etc. So we know when it comes to their type of warfare, they will be united. Now, will that united force overcome the Chaos forces, which are more or less in it for them? Well, I'm suggesting they will be in it for themselves, because a united force of the Salamanders, White Scars, Black Templars, Sisters of Battle, and of course, the faction that I've left out is the Imperial Guard as well. That was shown actually on the coin flip. So those big five factions, I can think they can defend against anything. You know, the Black Templars, their zeal and fury, the Salamanders with their craftsmanship, flame, fire, the White Scars, their speed and, you know, tactics and cunningness, the Sisters with their faith and fury and stuff like that. That is really, really cool. And of course, the Imperial Guard, the hammer and the anvil. Anything that comes across these chaps will break. So for me personally, I would like this book to end in a clear outright win for the Imperium. And that's not just my Imperium fanness saying that. I just think with the amount of warbands that are attacking and the amount of factions that are defending this, I really, really hope that GW puts it into the hands of the Imperium to save the day. That's not to say that Chaos don't deserve a win. I am completely down that Chaos deserve a win in this whole campaign. One of the things that really irked me about the Vigilus campaign is how it ended. I really, really wish Abaddon would have took Vigilus. I really wish he would have won Vigilus. I wish that Calgary didn't go to a Primaris format and maybe he got mortally wounded on there where he had to be interred into a Dreadnought. I think that would have been a lot more cooler. A massive Calgaris type of Dreadnought like Bjorn and stuff. I think that would have been a greater story for his character arc and everything like that. Maybe then you can have Kato Sakari step up and be chapter master, but I'm sure that'll cause a lot of drama online. So whatever happens during this campaign, I hope that the Imperium does become the victors. I really do hope they explore more of the faith side to the Imperium and the lies it was founded on, because it was lies. The Emperor is not a god. Please don't send the Inquisition to me. I don't see him as a god. I've never seen him as a god, even though people say, you know, the God Emperor of mankind and stuff like that. I don't. He's just a being of immense power to... I just can't even think how powerful he is. He's just way beyond my thought process, which is not really hard. But there we go. The Emperor is not a god, and I really hope that they put that towards the Black Templars, the sisters, and I really hope their faith is tested, but in a good way, and they overcome it, and they purge the Chaos Heretics. Alright, Chaperonios, that is me done for another video. The open day is, I think it's this Wednesday if I'm not mistaken, and of course we've got Blood and Glory on the 1st of November. There's a lot of reveals that are going to be coming this and next week, so stay tuned. I will be covering them all as much as possible. I'm not going to any of the open days or anything like that. Decided not to go this year because since last year it was a bit of a... I'm not going to get into that. It just wasn't very, very fun waiting outside and then everything being revealed before you even got through the bloody doors. So yeah, I'm not going to be going this year. But of course, as soon as they put it on the interwebs, we'll sit down, we'll have a nice little discussion. Of course, I'll be doing all my hype streams as I normally do, every night, where we just sit here and talk absolute crap and just, you know, all our wishes and thoughts and everything like that. So join me when I start streaming and do all that kind of stuff. Right, that's enough rambling for me for one day. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. I shall see you all very, very soon. See you now and bye-bye.